Many people fall into financial distress because of various bad habits. For instance, like credit card usage is too high, spending money on something that we do not need and we can't afford. Thus, it may lead to debt piling up and eventually we may not be able to pay for it. And that causes people to declare bankruptcy at an early age. Let's take a look on one of the most common financial mistakes that a younger generation made. That is credit card. As we know, it's not difficult to apply for a credit card even if you have just graduated with a minimum income. In these sessions, we'll talk about the pros and cons of having a credit card. First, improving your credit score. Why is improving your credit score important for everyone? This is because a good credit score would allow everyone to build more assets by using leverage. For instance, Kenneth is a fresh graduate and a well-planned person. He just landed a job in one of the well-established banks. He is earning around $3,000 a month and he is planning to buy his own house for investments. However, since he is a fresh graduate, he doesn't have any proof of credit score that will allow the bank to loan him money. Therefore, one of the best options is to get a credit card to build up his credit score. He knows that by building up his credit score in the long run, he can get the unsecured loan or secured loan approved easily a few years down the road when he is ready to own his first asset. Second, buy now and pay later. Although it seems to be quite attractive, having a self-discipline of paying off each debt is important as well. Kenneth is planning to start a bakery business and he needs to buy an oven for his day-to-day operations. Kenneth thinks that by owning a credit card, he can buy it and own it now but pay it when he gets his salary. By owning the item that he wanted, he can get his business started now. However, it's important to fully understand your own capacity of paying debts. Everyone is required to pay off monthly debts to avoid any interest charges that would also destroy your credit score. Third, spreading purchases out. Buying an oven could cost a few hundreds or thousands. It's a burden for Kenneth to fork out that money as he is still a fresh graduate, earning a minimum salary of $3,000. Thus, he decided to purchase the oven with the credit card installment plan with a reasonable interest offered by the bank. It is advisable that everyone should only search for the banks that gives 0% interest rate. There are many banks that allow customers to borrow money with low or zero interest rate. Fourth, getting cashbacks or rewards. Kenneth is a smart and wise consumer. He usually buys things based on his needs. He likes to spend on food and groceries. He specifically applies for a credit card where he can accumulate points when he purchases things in the supermarket. The points that he accumulates over time, he knows that he can redeem some merchandise or useful items. Kenneth also spends when there is a big discounts or sales. Fifth, cutting down your debt, balance transfer. If you have an outstanding debt with a high interest rate, can consider to transfer the balance to a new credit card with lower or zero interest rate. That makes you pay off your debt faster. Understanding your own financial situations is always important. How many assets or liabilities do you have at the moment? Kenneth has been very careful on his credit card spending. He is aware that the interest rate charges on the balance would be high due to the purchase of stocks and bakery appliances. He knew that he would not be able to clear off the payment in one shot, and he does not want to be charged with an exorbitant rate on his credit card. Thus, he is finding another credit card which could be the substitute of it with a lower or even a zero interest rate balance transfer. With the offer of balance transfer, Kenneth will not be charged with the high interest rate on his balance, which he cannot pay off one shot. These are the top 5 benefits and advantages that everyone could enjoy by obtaining a credit card. However, there are also a few cons of having a credit card, and most of the people will fall into these traps. That will lead them to heavy debts. So, what are the cons? First, possibility of debt. One of the most common cons is easily overspend and debt is rising. Credit card interest rate charges could be high, which it will build up the debt quickly if you don't pay balance off quickly. Cassandra is a middle income earner and she is earning quite a decent income on a monthly basis, but she has a bad habit of spending on unnecessary things after she got her salary. Recently, she applied for a credit card with a credit limit of $8,000 and it was approved by the bank. She was so happy with it and she decided to go shopping and buy herself a branded handbag which easily cost her $4,000. On top of that, she likes to go to those fancy cafes and restaurants for dining. Cassandra knows that she won't be making the full payment as she needs to allocate some on rental, medical insurance, saving, etc. Because of that, she can only pay a minimum on what she had spent with a credit card. It leads to a high interest rate charge and it could also pile up her debt. This example is teaching us: do not overspend with what you can afford. Credit card is more often called as spending your future money. Therefore, everyone should understand the difference between need and want. We will do another detailed video of explaining what's the difference and importance of both and how it would affect us from reaching financial freedom. Second, credit score. As we talked earlier, credit cards could provide us a good credit score if only we manage our payment nicely. However, what if we don't? Then the credit card debts will easily build up and the missing payment could affect your credit scoring. Always remember that the lower credit rating, the harder for you to apply for credit in the future. In other words, you won't be able to get any loans for purchasing any assets such as houses in the future. Cassandra has been missing a credit card payment for the past 3 months due to her never-ending lavish lifestyle. Because of that, the credit card debt has been building up month by month. Her credit rating is seriously tarnishing because of late payment and it may cause the difficulties of applying for a loan in the future. Third, fees and charges. If you do not meet the minimum repayment, fees and charges could apply. Since Cassandra could not make the minimum repayment every month, the bank is charging her a fee and a high interest rate charge kicks in. This would cause Cassandra to pay more in the following month. Do not underestimate the interest rates, fees and charges because it will compound. Compounding will build a person's fortunes, but it will also make a person's bankrupt. However, do not have to worry too much about the cons as long as you understand how to use your credit card effectively. Here are a few tips that will allow you to learn it quickly and avoid any unnecessary debts and interest charges. Now, we must always remind ourselves on how to use credit card effectively. Let's take a close look on each point. How do you use a credit card effectively? First, get a card to match your needs. Firstly, you have to understand your current situations. If you are a frequent traveler, you should go for an Air Miles credit card where you can earn more points. If you are a lazy spender that wish not to worry about the rewards, you could apply for the cashback. This is because cashback would be automatically added into your account. For example, Jane is holding a C-level positions in a big company. Because of her job scope, she is required to travel around the world to attend meetings. She was being approached by one of the banks to offer her a credit card. She was a little hesitant in the beginning and she was not sure which credit card she should go for. Since she is a frequent traveler and she has decided to take an Air Miles credit card where she can earn points whenever she buys a flight ticket. By getting Air Miles from the credit card would allow her to get more free or discount air tickets in the long run, as the Air Miles points can exchange for air tickets or enjoy luxurious facilities at the airport. Second, do not miss a payment. We must always remember to pay off the balance. Missing payments can always result in extra charges and loss of certain benefits. Jane is a frequent traveler and she is busy with her schedule most of the time. But she has been practicing a good habit where she will record down all her big expenses on credit card and also the due date of it. This is to make sure that she will not miss the payment and it will result in extra charges or even loss of certain benefits which she can enjoy. Third, set up a direct debit. Setting up a direct debit is always a better option. This is to avoid late payment if a person forgot to make the credit card payment within the stipulated time. Jane is a very vigilant person. To avoid late payment on credit cards and being charged, she has authorized the banks to do an auto deductions from the account on a fixed amount every month. Fourth, avoid impulse buying. Do not get triggered easily when going out for shopping. As mentioned earlier, understanding your needs and wants is always important. Impulse buying could always lead to credit card debt rising. Although Jane likes branded stuff, she avoids impulse buying every time when she goes shopping. She has the habit of spending within this budget each time she goes out. With the improvement of technology century, you could use any budgeting and money management apps on the phone to record all expenses. Control your money instead of letting it control you back. Fifth, looking for deals on groceries. Some of the grocery stores have been continuously doing sales in order to attract more buyers. Jane has been shopping around for cheaper groceries and substitutions for daily consumed items. She has been doing weekly groceries and she always looks for the best deal around. Once you understand how to spend your credit card wisely, it's time to get rid of your credit card debts. But how? Here are a few tips that you could consider. How to get rid of your credit card debts. First, pay more than minimum. Try to pay as much as you can and do not just pay the minimum as you will pile up debt and make it even harder and longer for you to pay off your credit card debt. Therefore, it's always advisable to pay off all your credit card debts each time after you have spent. Understand your affordability before purchasing anything. For example, Andrea is working in a corporate where she is holding a high positions. With a high salary, she has a credit card where she got the high credit limits approved by the bank. She has been using the card to purchase items and she always reminded herself to pay more than a minimum payment or even pay in full. This is because if she did not pay more than the minimum payment, she will get charged with a high interest and it will pile up her credit card debt. Second, look for 0% balance transfer credit card. 0% balance transfer can save your money in the long run. Find a card that offers a long 0% introductory period. Some banks offer a repayment period of 36 months. For example, Madeline is working as an admin in a small firm and her earning is barely enough to cover her living expenses. She is holding a credit card with a decent credit limit, but she has overspent it and she needs to do something in order to come out from financial distress. She went to the bank to ask for some advice on her credit card overdue payment. The bank personnel advised her to apply for a card with 0% balance transfer. The balance transfer works well for a lot of people who are going through the financial distress because of overspend on a credit card. The bank offers a repayment period of 36 months with 0% interest. Third, seek for debt management plan from non-profit credit counseling agency. Usually a non-profit credit counseling agency where they will advise you on your debt and how you can clear off the debt in a period of time. You may need to pay a fixed rate for a counseling program. Consulting a professional wealth expert is one of the effective ways of getting out from the debts. For example, Madeline was being advised by the bank to make an appointment with a non-profit credit counseling agency to restructure her debt as she is currently going through financial distress. She has no choice but to go for consultations in order to structure the debt so that she can clear off her debt accordingly. Fourth, target just one card. If you are carrying balances on multiple cards, it's advisable to clear off the one with the highest balance first. Since Madeline is holding 3 cards at one time, and she has been using 3 credit cards concurrently with the credit card balances piling up. After consultations with a credit counseling agency, the officer advised her to pay off the highest balance first so that she can pay off the remaining 2 credit cards along the way. All in all, these are the pros and cons of using credit cards. However, by understanding that isn't enough for everyone, we should also learn to avoid all unnecessary debts that would stop us from reaching financial freedom. Finally, we must always remember that by using the credit card wisely, it will benefit us as an individual in terms of building credit scoring, which will decide if it's easy for us to get a loan in the future based on the credit scoring that we have accumulated. However, if we do not use the credit card wisely, it will cause us to fall into a credit card trap and may potentially get into financial distress or even have to declare bankruptcy in the early age. Let's do our part today to stay away from financial distress and achieve the financial freedom that we desire.